Yes people, it's your boy Benjamin the Grafter, and today I'm going to be talking about a range of things. I'm going to go from topics about loneliness, making friends, adaptability, and my life basically. Give you an insight onto how I grew up and a little bit of things that I've had to go through and the challenges I've had to go through as a young individual. Anyway, so I'm going to start this video by talking about my childhood. Growing up, my life was very good. I can't complain. There were definitely some things that set me back a little bit, but nothing that didn't build me to be the man I am today. When I was younger, I never stayed in a school for longer than 2 years. I used to look at it as a detriment to my life because I was never able to keep friends, because I always had to move location, not from country to country, but just always place to place and school to school. And this was all the way from primary school all the way to the end of secondary school. It was nobody's fault. More time it was kind of my fault, you know what I mean? And I was getting in trouble and I was doing a lot of stupid things and I wasn't focused on my academics as much as I should have been. But I want to talk about the pros and cons of what that did to my life. So yeah, from primary school, I never really stayed in the school for longer than 2 years because that was more, my parents were moving around and they were trying to find a decent location to raise their child. So kudos to my parents on that. That wasn't really their fault, that was just part of life. But I was too young to really understand what was happening anyway, so it wasn't really a problem. Where it became a bit of a problem was when I was in secondary school, and secondary school starts in year 7 and that starts at the age of, I think about, if I'm not mistaken, about 11 or 12. But because I was the youngest in my year, I think I started about 11. But I think in America they call that elementary. I'm not sure what they call that around the rest of the world, but we call it secondary school over here in England. So yeah, in secondary school, I never really stayed in any school for longer than 2 years. I started my secondary school in a boarding school in Hertfordshire. That's a place in England. It was really fancy at the time. The school that I went to, I'm not gonna name it, but it was a really good school. It was more based on arts education, so it taught me a lot of drama, taught me a lot of musical theatre. It was really nurturing my artistic nature. I did a lot of, I even did ballet over there, I did tap dancing, contemporary, all those kind of different things. So I was really well versed in the arts. And I got my first little taste of acting, because from young, I always wanted to be an actor. From a young age, I always wanted to perform. I always wanted to express myself in an artistic way, in an artistic manner. My mum would say to me, like back in the day, I would watch a film and memorize the lines and start speaking back the lines, and she'd ask, oh, where did you get that from? And it was for me just reciting, watching movies and just reciting the words. Yeah, I started off in a school in year 7. It was a performing arts school. It was really good. I actually got in that school by singing Chris Brown, Yo. I had I wouldn't say I had, because I still have a good voice now, but back then my voice was like proper high pitched back in the day. And I was like singing like on Chris Brown levels in it. I sung to the people. Like I remember like most people had to do an exam to get into the school. All I did was sing and they were like, yep, like we want him in the school. Anyway, I didn't have to do the exam. All I did was sing Chris Brown, Yo, and they were like, yo, we want you in the school. Boom, bam, I was there. I stayed in that school for a year. It was a really good experience, man. It was so fancy, man. It was like one of them schools where we're eating like tea and biscuits and stuff, and I'm like, yo, this is a bit different. You know what I mean? Because in primary school, my primary school was a bit more public. You know what I mean? It was a bit more, you know what I mean? This was a private school. My primary school was public, so like, I was getting into like stupid fights and stuff, you know what I mean? I was getting into stupid fights because I moved to like a predominantly white area, but the white area that I moved to was a bit old-fashioned, you know what I mean? They weren't used to seeing, I think like my family was like one of the first black families in the area, and they weren't really used to seeing that, so we were still receiving a lot of racial backlash back then. But anyway, fast forward, I'm in year 7, I'm in Hertfordshire. There's not really any racist backlash. They're just not used to seeing a lot of black people there, but they weren't like openly negative about it. They were actually very accepting and very nice about it. And yeah, man, I made a few friends, some friends that I still have on social media till this day. I made a few friends, and it was a really good experience. I still had videos from like me performing. I've lost the videos now, I wish I could find them, but I still had like videos of me performing. I think I did like Bugsy Malone back in the day, like a production of Bugsy Malone for the musical theatre group, and I played Leroy Jenkins, the boxer, and it was pretty good, man. I can't even lie to you, it was amazing. You know what I mean? It was a different experience for me. Obviously, it was boarding school, so I was away from my family, but because I was having so much fun, it didn't really register in my young mind, man. As a young boy, I was always really adventurous and always wanted to explore things, so I didn't really mind being away from my parents. It didn't really hit until like probably like, I don't know, like a month in, and I was like, oh snap, like I haven't seen my parents in a while, and I started to get a bit homesick. But we were all homesick, do you know what I mean? So we all like shared a bond with being homesick, you understand? And it was really nice. It was a really good school. There was a lot of facilities and things like that, and we were having a lot of fun. It was like 2 different schools in one, because you had the vocational side, which was the musical theatre, the drama, the ballet, the tap dancing, all that kind of stuff. And then you had the academic side, which was obviously maths, English, science, blah, 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 blah. And all I remember was I was so focused on the vocational and having so much fun and so much learning from that, that I wasn't giving my all into the academic side of things. So when it came to results day, I might have got the best results in all my vocational, but when it came down to academic side, the results weren't really there. So my mum was like, yo, like, we're paying all this money and you're not focusing on, you know, both sides of the spectrum. So, you know what I mean? We're gonna have to pull your ass out. And I never really got pissed off at them, because they were right. They were paying a lot of money, and I wasn't, you know, utilizing things as much as I could have. So I was a bit of a rascal, I'm not gonna lie. I ain't never gonna lie. Like, bro, I'll tell you one story about like one of these. I think like there was one guy like that. He was in sixth form or yeah, he was in sixth form in the school, and I was in year 7. And I remember like I can't remember what he did that annoyed me, but we must have been in the canteen one time. He took his shoes off to put on some roller skates, and while he was roller skating around the canteen like a dipshit, sorry to swear, I took some beans. I literally got baked beans from my food and put it in his shoes and ran away in it. Then I hid on the top of some place, yeah, and I was like looking down at the canteen doors, and all I see is him come out and say, "Where is he? I'm looking for him, where is he?" He was mad pissed, but I was a mad rascal, and I was like year 7, I was like 12, bro, like, do you know what I mean? And I got chased around the school like by this like older guy, like, do you know what I mean? And all his friends was chasing me, and I got saved by some older girls at the time, because I was mad cute, you understand what I'm saying? So they saved me at that time, but I was nice. But anyway, scrap that. After year 7, I left that school. I didn't leave, I kind of got kicked out because I wasn't paying attention to the academic side. I already said that already, and I'm reiterating myself again. But anyway, after that, my mum was like, I don't know, like there was a, you know what, let me not even say my mum, there was a fad going on that a lot of Nigerians were sending their kids back to Nigeria to go to school. I don't know what kind of trend was happening at the time, but a bag of Nigerians were getting sent to Nigeria to go to school. And I was one of the lucky or unlucky ones to get picked to go back to school in Nigeria. So I got sent to another boarding school in Nigeria. I was there for 2 years. This experience was completely different, because like, imagine, I just told you, I've gone from a fancy school, eating tea, I said eating tea, what am I talking about? Drinking tea and eating biscuits and scones and all of that. Then I got sent straight to Nigeria, to the village. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not even talking about the fancy part of Nigeria. I mean, I got sent down to the village. You understand? Where you see the bush rats and you see all the butterflies this big. like all these mad animals, bro. I'm telling you, bro, it was scary, but still, the adventurous side of me. I remember when my mum, I remember this like it was yesterday, when my mum dropped me at the school, because my mum took the flight with me to Nigeria, but then she had to go back to England. She took the flight with me to school, she dropped me in the school, and I remember my mum was like, all right, bye, I'm going now, and I'm like, oh, bye, see you later, and I'm talking to all the new people, and I'm like, yo, like, what's good, but it's like, because I was used to doing that in Hertfordshire in England, I was still excited and had the adventure side of me, but then like, it was different because my mum got on a flight back to England, and then it dawned on me, and I'm like, rah, it's not even like my mum can drive, or my mum and dad can come drive and come check me. Look, this was a situation where they were in a whole different country, and Nigeria is mad strict. I don't know about now, yeah, but back then it was super strict.